So this video is about this new feature that Google is putting in front of me for setting up a shared inbox. Now I'm in my burrisconsulting.com Google Workspace account, my business domain, not free Gmail. This is not available on free Gmail. And I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this together. Set up a shared inbox, boost team collaboration, create a shared inbox for business functions like support, sales, etc. Now, I could have just simply hit dismiss, but I'm going to hit set up shared inbox. It wants to confirm I am who I say I am. Now it says create a shared inbox that multiple users can manage. So it wants an email address. So let's give it an email address. Let's call it YouTube. I'll do one just for my YouTube account. So the displayed name for the shared inbox will be Teddy Burris YouTube. And the email address is youtube@teddyburris.com. Let's do next. Who will use this email address? So let's put in Teddy Burris and let's put Rebecca. Let's put those two. Not seeing users you want to select, add new users. I don't need to add new users. I'm going to hit next. I can have up to 25 users doing this. So one of the things that I remind myself regularly, which I failed to do today, is that when you're setting up something in a platform or you're doing a new feature in a platform, you need to read the entire screen, Teddy. And I didn't. I jumped at creating a shared inbox and I went to YouTube and created a YouTube at teddyburris.com and went through the process of adding Rebecca and Teddy to it because they manage the YouTube for the business. But what I failed to do was read the entire screen. A shared inbox costs the same as an additional user. Now, shared inboxes could be very useful, could be very beneficial to your business, having 25 people being able to see and to manage incoming mail, reply to mail at a single inbox. That could be very useful. But you got to remember, Teddy, read the whole screen. It costs the same as adding a new user. And today, that is currently, I think, for my platform is $7 a month. Could be way more for larger organizations. Now, an alternative that I use is this. I will use, example, at burrisconsulting.com or teddyburris.com. I will actually publish an email address, youtube@teddyburris.com or LinkedIn at teddyburris.com or webinars at teddyburris.com. I publish those email addresses out in the general public, but I do not create a new user. What I have done is I have set up in my Google Workspace domain that all emails that come in to an invalid or an email address that doesn't exist, I get all those emails to my inbox. Again, small business, this works great. But for a large business, it may not work as great. So I get all the email messages that come in for YouTube at burrisconsulting.com, webinars at burrisconsulting.com, LinkedIn at burrisconsulting.com. All those come to me. Now, the problem with that is I also get the email messages that come in to Rebecca at burrisconsulting.com or Rebecca at teddyburris.com because that's not her email address. Her email address is something slightly different. So I have to forward those to her directly. So in summary, a couple things. Number one, read the entire screen, Teddy, when you're setting up something in a platform so you know what to expect. Number two, I think shared inboxes could be very useful for organizations with 5, 10, 20, 100, 200 people. I think it could be very useful. And then the third option is consider this. Consider using an email address that doesn't exist on your domain, as I shared with you my YouTube, webinars, and LinkedIn at burrisconsulting.com. And then set your domain up so that all email messages to invalid email addresses come to you or go to the person that you want to manage those email messages. Hey, I'm Teddy. I'm all about using Google Workspace, and I hope this is helpful for you.